Okay, Angel, we're here now. We're just trying to do a follow-up from the last meeting and the corrective instruction plan that we put together for the students. Thanks for letting me observe your fifth period freshman class. That was really good. I got a chance to see you putting some of these strategies into play, and it's clearly shown up in the results from the last assessment because the scores have definitely improved. So I guess from your perspective, I'm kind of wondering, I got a chance to see the graphic organizer, but what kind of other efficacy strategies have you been able to put in place for our students?
Some of the things I've been able to do with your help is peer-to-peer. So they had to write an essay, so I had them do an outline first. Actually, before I had them do the outline, they had to take notes. And then there was a graphic organizer, and there was a different certain way for them to do it. Then I had them do an outline, which was graphic organizer. They had to work on their hook and the thesis. And then they had to have the evidence and explanation. And before I looked at it, I had them, actually have their, the person sitting next to them, read it, and they gave me some suggestions. And after that, then I looked at it. So they had more peer-to-peer interaction. They had the time to talk about the question, not only just with their peers, but with their whole table mates. And it was pretty lively discussions that they had. So I think that was something good.
Yeah, and then looking at the data, I noticed that there were folks that were not struggling as much with the thesis statement idea. So did you do something in particular to get them to understand how to develop or create a thesis statement?
Well, with this prompt, it was a little bit easier because they were either for or against. So in that sense, I mean, I did an outline within myself on not that specific topic, but a different topic, but I did an outline of paper I would to be writing if I was, doing it on that specific, treaty, because we were looking at treaties. So I think that helped them a lot.
So an exemplar of what it is that you're looking for?
Yeah, so I modeled it for them, and also, I had a chance to work with them more one-on-one.
Cool.
And I mean, that was one of the important things, that they had a good thesis. So I think more than anything, just working with them one-on-one for the kids that were struggling. But there's a lot of them that just got it right off just by me modeling and showing them how to do it.
Right. I know that I had highlighters as well for you, so if you ever needed to use highlighters, and I think probably we'll get them in different colors. But then if you can have students highlight those things, the thesis statement, and then how about with pulling evidence from text? Because that was another area that I'm seeing now that we were struggling in.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I had them do. Like I said before, I had them do the outline. I actually had to take notes on that specific chapter that the prompt was on. And along with that, I had the graphic organizer, which started off with the hook, thesis, then it broke up the 4 other paragraphs. So it was very straightforward, and it was all there. So didn't need to highlight or anything else like that because it was labeled hook, thesis, and how I had them take notes.
Well, citing evidence specifically, because that's where I think students are really struggling, is figuring out how to pick a piece of evidence that's going to prove or disprove their point of emphasis.
Yeah, so with the 2 body paragraphs, it was an argumentative essay. There are two body paragraphs. They had to show 2 examples of evidence, and then they had to explain it as well. Then their final body paragraph, they had to talk about the counterpoint. They had to put the counterpoints evidence for that topic, and they had to explanation why they were wrong. So within the graphic organizer, you had topic sentence, evidence, explanation, evidence, explanation. So for each of the paragraphs, so it was pretty straightforward. It was all there for them in the graphic organizer that I gave them.
And then as far as citing the source, and I realize these guys are, for the most part, at least in my classes, they're taking everything from one particular text.
Right.
How about reviewing any of the formatting for how to actually cite that source correctly? Because that's where I found a lot of students just falling off. Either they were just putting the page number, or they were writing the book and they weren't underlining or doing any of the things that we're trying to teach in MLA.
Yeah, so I gave them all a cheat sheet. Essentially, if it's internet site, if it's a magazine, if it's a book, and they were looking at that, because there are some that weren't using the textbook if they wanted to get specific numbers,
Right.
And some of the times when they got different numbers, say, oh no, it was 8 million, no, it was 30 million, and they, I told them that they had to actually cite the specific, you know, place they were getting it, because they were getting all these different numbers, and they were asking me, oh no, he's wrong, no, his phone said, is this correct? So I told them to show me the website, and they had actually cited if they want to get it directly from the books. A lot of information they wanted, they couldn't find it directly from the book, so they had to go to other sources. So,
because I know you have the computers in the classroom too, so it was kind of, whether they do any combination between the two? Because I've only used the book.
I actually took them to the computer lab because internet wasn't working that well for these computers.
Gotcha.
So they did it over there.
All right, I'm gonna get a chance to hopefully observe your class one other time before the end of the session, and we're gonna give this assessment one last time. Is there any follow-up or any other things that you think we need to work on before then?
Maybe grading, like grading a rubric for, you know, the actual paper.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, they have their thesis and they have their book, but just creating a rubric for what's, you know, exemplar, what's, you know,
Mhm.
approaching exemplar, you know, what's just meeting standard. So I think that's something we can work on, creating a rubric for that.
Okay, cool. And I know we have some stuff that, since we've been doing DDI as a school, that they're putting in place for argumentative and persuasive writing. So then let's just come back with those and look at those in our next meeting, and hopefully we can pick one and maybe even focus on a particular strand so that we're chunking it ourselves to get the students to understand it. All right, this is great, man. I really feel like they're making a lot of progress now, and between our two classes collaborating, we're able to like help out some of the other teachers in our team teach the same stuff as far
And
as
definitely, if
research.
they get it in our class, you know, it can help them with that process.
Yep. All right, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate your time.
All right.